Hello, welcome to the vlog. Thank you for joining me. Today's outdoor adventure is one that is near and dear to my heart because I am bike riding and exploring Fort DeSoto Park. Fort DeSoto Park is at the bottom end of Pinellas County, right literally at the mouth of Tampa Bay. And my family has been coming to Fort DeSoto my entire life. It's a beautiful natural setting park. It's a county park. It's got beautiful beaches, picnic areas. As you can see behind me, it's got remains of an old fort that was built late 1890s. There's a lot to see here from a historical perspective, a lot to see here from just a natural beauty, natural setting. So with a lot to do, let's get into it and come join me on another of Bid's outdoor adventures. Here's an illustrated map of Fort DeSoto Park as put out by Pinellas County. I'm going to be referring to this throughout the video. I'm going to use it to highlight the areas that I visit, and the first place I visit is going to be North Beach. The red lines in the water simply indicate no motorboats allowed, and the black circles indicates covered picnic pavilions, which you'll see here in just a moment. The North Beach parking lot is huge. It can accommodate a lot of people, and on the weekends it can get quite busy. Here's a couple examples of those covered picnic pavilions I was talking about. Once you leave the parking lot and head toward the beach, you have to cross over this little tidal basin here. Clearly it's at low tide here, but even when it's at high tide, the water is barely even knee deep. It flows down to a little basin down in that direction. But once you wade through it, you get to this beautiful, wide, white sandy beach. And of course, what beach isn't complete without gulls? Here's a colony of gulls, and the long blackbirds are black skimmers. They're the ones you see flying right above the waves with their lower bills in the water, and they're trying to scoop up fish and other little creatures. You wade out knee deep to come to a sandbar, but once you get out past the sandbar, you get out into the deeper waters of the Gulf. Leaving the parking lot, you join the multi-use trail. It's a paved trail that's about 7 miles long. It's in excellent condition. The trail itself goes all over Fort DeSoto Park from one end to another. This stretch of the park is popular with people who maybe don't want to fight all the crowds at the North Beach. They'll pull over and park right on the side of the road here, pack up their gear, and use pathways, these dune crossovers, some of which are just crushed coral and some of which are a wooden boardwalk. But you definitely want to stay on one of the trails, because if you get off the trails, there's plenty of cactus and other sharp things willing to grab you. But once you cross over, you get these beautiful stretch of beach that isn't quite so crowded. If by chance you don't have your own bicycle, there are places you can rent them. And they have a variety of 2-wheel, 3-wheel, even 4-wheel creations. And after your bike ride, you can stop here at the snack bar and gift shop. Gift shop's on the left, snack bar's on the right. And hot dogs and hamburgers, chips, drinks, ice cream, Florida touristy knickknacks. They have these 4-wheel buggies. A rather cool looking 4-wheel buggy. Single seat. And then a whole array of cruiser type bikes. Well, maybe you're looking for a different kind of adventure. Well, you could rent a kayak. Directly across from the entrance to the historic fort is this place where you can rent single and double seat kayaks, and you can take them all over the relatively protected waters of Mullet Key Bayou. So I'm here at the very eastern part of Fort DeSoto. It's not actually called East Beach. East Beach is back a little ways, but this is, actually I'm not sure it has a name, but the road right here goes and it just basically loops around and comes back. But this is a nice little area, quiet. It's grassy out there, so it's not ideal for swimming or anything, but it does give you a very nice view of the Sunshine Skyway Bridge. And some of the boat traffic in and out of the bay. As I rode around the park this day, something was just a little off, and it took me a little while to figure out what it was. But then I realized that I was seeing a lot of palm fronds and branches, like you see here, scattered and just lying about. Normally the park has it picked up. But less than 2 weeks before I shot this video, Hurricane Debbie had gone churning up the west coast of Florida. And while it didn't make landfall, it did bring a lot of high wind and rain. The wind's knocking down all kinds of branches, and the rain caused a lot of flooding and ponding. So the park and the park staff were still in the process of trying to get cleaned up. So I'm pulling into Fort DeSoto's campground. A pretty big campground, has over 250 campsites. Some of them are drive-through sites for your large motorhomes, motor coaches, but most of them are your typical sites where you back your trailer in and park it. I tried to film the section of the campground that I normally camp in, and I did it in a time-lapse setting on the GoPro, and it turned out so herky-jerky as to just basically be unwatchable. Fortunately, I did take some pictures, which will give you a good idea of what the campground looks like. So this is the view you get out of a standard campsite. They have allowed some mangroves and other bushes and shrubs to grow along the shoreline to help prevent erosion, which was a problem, and it's certainly understandable, but unfortunately it does kind of cut back on your view. But this is the little bay. I forgot the name of it. But the land on the other side is the North Beach and the Arrowhead, specifically the Arrowhead picnic ground area. And this body of water here is called Bunce's Pass. You get onto the island over here, onto Fort DeSoto over a bridge, and then Bunce's Pass goes all the way through there and out into the Gulf of Mexico. I tried to take a picture of these two seagulls, but unfortunately the one had its head down, so it didn't turn out very good. So I waited a few seconds and took another picture. Seriously? Well, fortunately a third one flew in and joined the group. Oh, for Pete's sake. Never mind. This is one of 2 restroom facilities within this particular section of the campground. Flush toilets, sinks, hot and cold running showers, and it even has a washer and dryer in case you need to do a load of laundry. There's also a screened-in community room if you want to just hang out and relax, maybe do a little bit of reading.